It's week 9 in the NFL. The Thursday NFL matchup is Cleveland and Cincinnati. And as we do every week, we're going to talk with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com to get a first look, Monday afternoon look at this matchup for possible betting value to start off the week right. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us. Cleveland, Cincinnati, right? Cincinnati is a 10-point home favorite right now. The total's 46. Greek appears to have a lean to the over. They have 46.5. Cleveland, of course, got popped by Arizona last week. The Sharps were on Arizona, and they cashed. Cleveland in general in a lot of trouble right now. McCown, a quarterback, is playing, but he's banged up. And Cleveland just has a lot of issues. They also have some key issues in the secondary now. Cincinnati gutted out that low-scoring win against Pitt. Cincinnati is now 7-0 straight up and 6-0-1 against the spread, so that's amazing. My sense is that on a short week here, I'm thinking about a shot with the under. You got to figure that Cleveland's going to, be very, very run-heavy in this one. Cincinnati will probably just do enough to win, maybe even enough to cover, but not necessarily to get into some kind of high-scoring game where they win by 30 points. I'm thinking the under 46 might actually be a great play. What do you think about that, Joe?
I'm not 100% certain about that. When teams like to play keep away, and I agree with you, Cleveland would certainly have every motivation in the book to play keep away. It's a lot easier said than done. You have to have the personnel to do it, and I find that when that strategy is to keep the ball away from the other team, that it really helps when you have a dominant running game and you don't have to go all that far out of your game plan just to emphasize your strength. And that doesn't really describe Cleveland. You did mention, of course, that Cleveland's got some big problems with Dante Whitner and Joe Hayden. Joe Hayden, an all-pro cornerback. So they're going to have some weaknesses in their secondary. And Hayden has done very well. He matches up very well. He's played A.J. Green as tough as anybody, and he is almost certainly out. So if anything, maybe the Bengals would attack that weakness. Mm-hmm. And on one hand, I also think the side is a little bit tough. Yes, the computer does verify on a short week. It definitely benefits the home team, which makes a lot of sense. And in fact, home teams on Thursday night when neither team is off of a bye, if the home team's off a road game and the road team's off a home game, the home team's a solid 39-25. But as tough of a game as it is against Arizona, I also think Cincinnati, off of a very emotional and a physical game against Pittsburgh that went down to the wire, the short week doesn't really help them all that much. This is really the early metrics say this is a pretty tough game.
Yeah, and another thing about just to add to point to your thing about teams playing keep away, if they get down early, 14-zip in the fourth quarter or like 17-0 early in the second quarter, then they have to start passing unless they just, concede the game in the second quarter, which is possible, but not necessarily likely. Yeah, I mean, when I looked at this, I was leaning the under, and I was also leaning Cleveland despite, all their issues and how banged up they are for exactly the points that you made, that the Pittsburgh game probably took a lot out of Cincinnati, if not physically, emotionally as well, and the short week and a ton of points. So I was leaning Cincinnati plus 10. I think I'd still be leaning that way and a little bit stronger to the under at 46. Sounds like it's going to be a pass for you, Joe Duffy. Do you want to give us an official pick here, or do you want to pass?
I think it is a pass, but ironically enough, I think you might have a pretty decent chance at the under for the opposite reason. Maybe Cincinnati will be aggressive early. Mm-hmm. If they can get out to a nice lead, you can see how, especially on a short week, they might want to kind of take the air out of the ball. So if it goes under, I wouldn't be surprised if it's because Cincinnati tries to kind of slow the game down if they're protecting a second half lead. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna pass, and I'm gonna let you make the official pick in this video.
All right. I think I'm liking the under here, Joe Duffy. Maybe not my favorite totals play of all times, but I think I'm liking it pretty solidly. I think I will bet it for Joe Duffy, though, from OffshoreInsiders.com. It's officially going to be a pass. Thanks for all your thoughts on this, Joe Duffy, and give a quick plug for OffshoreInsiders.com. Tell everyone what's going on there right now at this point in the year.
Yeah, we're winning in all sports. We've gotten to the point where I don't outsmart myself too often. I had proven metrics, and then I allowed something to talk me out of it. One of the greatest football seasons ever recorded by anybody, anywhere, probably the best ever. But 35-15 in all sports combined. NBA's here. We're kicking butt in the NBA. And college basketball, we got so many metrics that have won in previous years. Can't wait for college basketball as well. Joe Duffy's picks at OffshoreInsiders.com.
Sounds awesome, Joe. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, Peter.